Hello, and welcome to an informational presentation from the Naperville Park District's tennis program. I'm Meredith Pollock, your tennis coordinator. With me is Barb Ruth. This past summer, we welcomed Barb on staff to assist and help guide our junior tennis program. She specializes in staff development and youth progression and works as the junior play director for the Chicago District Tennis Association, our local division of the United States Tennis Association. She has trained Park District and PE teachers in the Chicagoland area for the past 10 years. Barb is also a national USTA coach developer and leads the USTA 10 and under early development camps. Thank you for sharing your junior tennis expertise with us.
Thank you, Meredith, and I'm happy to continue working with the Park District. Let's start out by talking about the current youth development program in tennis for the Park District. They have a very successful program for red ball players ages 4 to 7 and orange ball players ages 7 to 10. But there's one development piece of the pathway that's been missing, and that's the green ball for ages 8 to 11 that transitions before players start with the yellow ball that we're familiar with as adults. So let's talk about what's exciting. It's coming to the Naperville Park District courts near you this spring. And why is that? This chart talks about the pathway using the different ball colors for development for youth. Let's look at the different balls. So the red ball is, again, that younger age starting at 4. It's a larger size ball than the yellow ball, and it bounces at 50% bounce of that ball. Then we transition to the orange ball, which is the same size as a yellow ball, but it's still 50% bounce, so it moves slower and easier to strike for these children. And last, now we're adding that green ball. This is the 75% bounce of the yellow ball and the piece that will be put into play before the kids transition to yellow. If we look at this chart, it talks about that pathway moving from red to yellow, as you can see by the bouncing balls we just talked about. But there's also a transition in rackets and in court sizes. I wanted to compare this to other Naperville Park District programs that your children may be in. For example, Pee Wee soccer, using the smaller fields and smaller goals, T-ball using the tees instead of the pitches, and even basketball lowering the nets so the children have an easier time making the shots. So this is tennis. This 10 under pathway is tennis's way to encourage that development for youth. If you look at the rackets, we start at 23 inches on that red ball court. And that court is small. It's a micro court. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, it goes across the regular size court. And you may have seen some of the red ball lessons in the classes on the Park District courts over the last couple summers. Then we transition to that orange ball court, which plops right in the middle of the regular size court. And again, several of the parks in Naperville have these blended lines on the courts permanently so children can play with these dimensions. It's a 60-foot court versus 78. Then we transition to the green ball. This racket size is up to 29 inches, an adult size racket, and the court is also full-size court. But the major difference is it's now that green ball, which is still a 75% bounce of the yellow ball and easier for the kids to rally with. Then we have the full-size court, the yellow ball, the adult size racket, and the full court. So I want to talk about the basis for our athletic development, and that is what I call the ABCs: agility, balance, coordination, and speed. All of our lesson plans from orange to green, from red to orange to green, going on to yellow, include this athletic development piece, because we know that the better athletes these children are, the better tennis players they become. So how does this fit into the goals for development at the Naperville Park District? With the red ball, for these children, again, ages 4 to 7, it's more about moving, throwing, catching, all kinds of athletic development on that micro-sized court so they get used to tennis and a net. Then we move to orange ball, which is, like we were talking about, it's on the regular size court, but a little smaller. And now we're moving into more tennis appropriate specific development. Then to green, which is taking this tennis specific development and adding some physical and emotional skills, because we'll be introducing competition at the green ball level. And last, then we're on to the yellow ball, where we're putting it all into play and now coming up with game styles and having the players establish their weapons on the court, in addition to learning more about doubles. So that's about it for me, but I wanted to leave you with this page of resources in case you wanted to check back on some of the things we talked about. So first is netgeneration.com, which is where you can go to find games and drills that you can do at home with your children, similar to ones that we'll be doing in the classes. There's the Chicago District Tennis Association, where if you want to find out about anything, tournaments or teams in the Chicago area beyond the Park District. And then last would be the United States Tennis Association. So anything about tennis, it's your national resource. So let's end with this slide. It's a great progression showing you the red ball court to the orange to the green and fine to yellow, and showing you that Naperville Park District has all these plans in place. So 10U Tennis, let's go this spring.